All right.
All right, so this is our second edition of RPG Speedwatch. Today, we're going to be featuring Chrono Trigger, the Japanese version, the any percent time of 2:29:19 by Red Slash. So, I'm actually very excited for this episode. This is our first RTA episode, so I have high expectations for this this explanation for sure. So joining us today is Red Slash, who is the record holder. Welcome to the program, Red Slash.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. And also on the program today is El Gran Jerry, helping out with commentary. Welcome to the program.
Hello, thanks. I'll do my best to explain this game, which is amazing.
All right, great. So if you guys either want to take a few words in advance before we start, or we can just go into it, you guys choose.
I'm all right going right into it.
Yeah, we can go right into it and talk us.
Sure.
We have 3 hours. Well, we have 2:29 to talk about.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to count down.
Okay.
From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cool. All right, so this is Chrono Trigger any percent. I know you were interested in having a category on that was perhaps one of the more competitive categories, but the reality is this has all the history of the any percent classic category in behind it, and this is a fairly new category, but it still has a lot of depth to it that I hope I can get into. So yeah, fastest time that Chrono Trigger's ever been completed. Like, I feel so lucky to be a part of this, and I really want to, where I can, give shout-outs, give credit to all the people who've been involved in this project. It's been quite a ride.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, we're gonna see a quick menu. Just gonna. Most people know how this game works. If you don't, basic Chrono Trigger features a really, a really cool battle system, which you have to feel your action bar in order to do a technique. So basically, what he does at the start is he changes that to 1, so the speed is the fastest, and he also changes his battle cursor to memory, so it remembers your last attack. Just that's the main thing we do at the start. We'll get more into it when we get to see a fight, actually.
Yeah, so if I may, I'd like to kind of relate this run back to Inichi's original Japanese run that's on SDA. That was from 2007. But what's funny is there's so many things that are still the same, even from back then. Like this entire opening part up until fighting first battle is identical, except for renaming. We started doing that fairly recently. But yeah, pretty much all the major tricks that we do in Chrono Trigger were discovered by Inichi like the summer after he submitted his 2007 run. He just appeared on TAS videos and started finding discovery after discovery, and that includes LSS that can be traced back to Inichi. So there's a lot of Inichi tradition represented here.
Yeah, for this game, actually, most of the tricks that Red Slash said came from the Tassers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we didn't even... Well, it's kind of a long story about why LSS is even in the RTA now. Because, you see a trick in the TAS, and, it's easy to just assume, it's probably TAS only. It takes a lot of work to even find out whether it's possible in RTA. So, shoutouts to Chaos, who did the impossible back in let's see, it was last year.
That's right, it was around January last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't find out about that until I think like April. So there was like this, this lag where, there's rumors going around, and then we kind of all coalesce, and we're all working together on it. And it's kind of funny how it evolves. But I really think my Chrono Trigger career, so to speak, began last year in September when Jerry got together some of these not outcasts, but like just us practicers, theorizers who hadn't really done any speedruns or anything. So he gave us kind of a chance to get together and talk about stuff and really kind of get serious about making some discoveries, figuring out why things work and stuff, and that made a huge difference. That's like the explosion point, I feel. Thanks to Jerry. I gotta give you major props, man.
All I did was put them all in the Skype group.
Yeah, you took the initiative, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, since that point we've just like theorized about lots of stuff, and then lots of things actually came to plan. Quite some neat different glitches with, not glitches, but like new applications for glitches and stuff we found. Minor time saves and everything, just getting all together.
Yeah, I could have mentioned something in the Blue Imp fight, but here coming up is Bird Skip. And so I watched Inichi's run just recently, this last week, and I'd seen it before. I actually studied it in 2013, like trying to see if I could kind of reroute stuff. But Inichi doesn't do the bird skips, which I thought was kind of funny. It's not really a glitch. I believe he knew about a lot of glitches back then, but well, actually, he fights those birds actually that learn Cyclone. Yeah, and then he uses that on the Rolly Riders coming up. Which is also what we used to do up until last year, I guess. Well, it was the route that Obda took. We would get the power tab from the forest before coming up here and getting Luca, and then putting on the glove and using the tab so that we could cyclone those Rolly Riders. And these opening battles have gone through several revisions to become what they are now. Like at first, okay, so Inichi doesn't even take any hits from the Blue Imps. And then we started taking just one hit. And then starting last year, I think October, we started taking 2 hits. We realized, that puts us on even better RNG stream. So it doesn't seem optimal, but it's setting it up. 1 second.
Yeah, in this game, many of the things we'll see, like sometimes like we do extra attacks or weaker attacks to set up the right RNG for certain battles. We'll definitely be getting into that pretty soon.
Let's see.
But yeah, this opening sequence, it was like actually we found, well, I'm not gonna say we, Red Slash found a new setup for the battles that sets us on the right RNG, 3 weeks ago maybe? Or a month ago? It was really recent.
It was pretty recent.
The newest one.
Yeah, but a while back, like the reason we even started fighting the Rolly Riders without Cyclone. And like the 3 Rolly Riders and then the 2 without Cyclone, and that kind of that's all thanks to Autovino, actually. Actually, the only reason we're manipulating RNG, or trying to at all, in this first segment is for the Nagaets in the Cathedral. We don't want them to use slow spells on us, and in order for that to be possible, we have to get into the right RNG window.
So sorry, could you just talk a bit about how RNG works in this game and what Like, how are you able to manipulate it? Do you know the patterns? What's the deal?
Sure thing. Well, the funny thing is, RNG is kind of a misleading term. Chrono Trigger doesn't really generate random numbers at all. It's all kind of, they just kind of use a lookup table, and it's a table of, so-called random numbers. So, enemy value is kind of a more accurate term. That's what Auto uses, but we still use RNG as kind of a shorthand. It's what people are comfortable with. But the funny thing is, okay, I can kind of explain. Every encounter has a set table, has its own little table of 16 possible initial values that it will take, depending on the window that your stored value is in. And these 16 values are basically, so the windows are they basically correspond to quarters of a second. Like, the only things that influence RNG are inside battles and also saving and reloading. And when you reload in like the first quarter of a second, you'll be in like the 10s, second quarter of a second the 20s, third quarter of a second the 30s, hexadecimal. It corresponds to the frames. So the other thing to make this Nagaat fight work is we have to open with that critical in order to skip the value that it's initialized to. Ottavino's genius finding that. Like, this would be a bad window, except we open with an attack right off the bat before the Nagaats can even formulate what they're going to do.
The attack might seem pointless, but because we deal more than enough damage to kill them. But yeah, it's to set up the Nagaat AI so that she doesn't use a slow spell, which slows us down with a 6-second animation, and our characters take more time to attack.
Yeah, and since they don't even have a slow spell queued up, like we can kill a pair of Nagaats if one of them is going to do a slow spell. But if none of them are going into that mode, then instead they're in wander mode and they're approaching you. And the way they're grouped up, you can do the fire whirl on 3 of them instead of just 2. So I mean, by doing that extra attack, you also skip Nagaat doing another attack. And then Flame Toss is pretty fast compared to Flame doing another Fire Whirl on the 2 remaining, for sure. And I always get this revive. I think it's pretty questionable not to, but hey, it doesn't even take any time. I'm going to explain it. Oh, there's a fade out though. So here's the first example of a fade out glitch, which Inichi found. Yeah. That's not a very big use of it. There's going to be another one later. And then we get that sword. I've been getting the sword after going in that power tab RAM, but apparently that's pretty risky to do because the enemy's moving around.
Apparently,
yeah. They barely give me any room to pass, but I'm just so used to it. It's like I've reset to those guys before, but if you get the sword first, then you don't have that problem.
So, could you talk about detection on enemies and how close you can cut it?
Oh yeah, sure. Pretty much, the hitboxes in this game are pretty interesting. Every hitbox is a maximum 16 by 16 pixels, 1 tile. That goes for your characters and NPCs, enemies, and even hidden battle triggers on the field, invisible triggers. Those are also 16 by 16. So it's kind of strange though. When you're moving, your hitbox kind of extends out in front of you. So, there was a good example of that earlier. When I ran behind the hench, it looked like
that's what I saw. Yep.
Yeah, it looked like I was clipping through him, but actually, since he was moving in that direction, his hitbox was actually shifted in the way he's moving. Like, the hitbox was basically not even on him at all. It was fully in front of him. oops, so that was another fade out. And we actually stored the save point.
Yeah, so basically if you do the fatal glitch and you stand on top of a save point, and then the loading zone finally takes you, you can store the save point and you can save anywhere, basically. That's what the glitch is called, save anywhere. So if you save past the trigger for the boss, you can move during the boss fight, as you're seeing right now. And we can also skip the text, what he's doing, scrolling up and down. It's called text canceling, just to save a couple of frames.
Yeah, if you get far enough away from an NPC, their text box will just close instantly. Like sometimes even before it even starts opening.
Yeah,
so that's a big time saver.
Yeah, I gotta move them off the screen.
Mm-hmm. Is that what it is? I was thinking about that the other night. Like, is it just moving them off the screen?
Yeah.
I never put that together. I just realized it's just a certain distance away from them. All right.
It's actually not like right off the screen. There's like a little window up on top of the screen where they cancel. But yeah, basically I take it as moving them off the screen.
Okay. Yeah, I just have visual cues on the floor that I'm aiming for. So I never even look at the NPCs.
Yeah, there's something about this game that everybody has a different setup for things, and they all work, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess could you cover what the fade out glitch, or do you have a specific section you want to talk about it in?
I could talk about that real quick. Basically, it's the let's see. So it's called fade out because the room, when you hit the door trigger, the room begins to fade out. But when you menu, that everything freezes, like that process, including that process. So, and when you open the menu again, like that fade out is reset. So we're able to just keep it rolling. We have the door stored. And if you interact with another trigger, like the save point is kind of a strange case, but we can use fade out to skip other things like cutscenes, dialogue, just by hitting those triggers and then letting the room take us out. Oh, so we used another save anywhere here. So this is reverse bird skip. We did the bird skip, we got reverse bird skip. Now, SNES Warrior is the one who found that out. It was pretty amazing the way he did that. He was just looking for a way to practice the bird skip. And so he was like, it's such a bummer to keep restarting on the right side of the bridge. Let's try to go back the other way. Normally it wouldn't be useful at all, because if you're coming from another direction, the bird encounter isn't loaded. It's the Rolly and Imp encounter. But I had found out just shortly before that if you save high enough into the map and reload, it'll actually load the bird encounter, and you can skip that. It saves like a few seconds compared to running away from the Rolly and Imp. But on Japanese, though, it has like a kind of a bonus use, because to set up okay, so every time we're reloading here, like we're basically discarding our RNG string and starting fresh, because that's what the reloads do. So that load I did before the reverse bird is setting up for Dragon Tank, essentially, and actually it's for the prison guards that I'm going to fight. And let me see here. I got a power tab, and I'm going to use it. Yeah, so because we can skip, because we can do reverse bird skip, I used to have to make an extra save in the prison right before the guards, because I need to do a mash load, like the earliest possible RNG window. And if I had mash loaded on Yakra and then encountered those imps, like, I have to reload again because I need the earliest window. So
Okay, so you were saying before that mostly everything is like a lookup table, but there are some times in which you load a game and you have to hit it within a window because you might hit a different lookup. Is that right?
yeah. Let's see. So yeah, it basically corresponds to the quarter of a second that you load on the file select screen. There's some some windows are larger than others, and some are even like you can even pair them up so that they're fairly large that way, and they kind of resolve to the same place. Like all the battles, every encounter has a unique set of 16, but they're still quite similar to each other. Like for example, starting in the earliest window, the battle we get into is going to initialize to like the third window or something. Yeah, first window goes to third to fifth. That kind of pattern going on. It's kind of interesting. I kind of tried to make in the resources on our wiki. I kind of did a write-up a while back of the how the RNG works, and there's kind of a flow chart where you can kind of see how the battles, kind of flow to each other.
Oh, cool. So you guys maintain a wiki page, is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Jerry just posted it. Chrono.wikidot.com, and that's actually our old leaderboard too. But if you click on strategies, there's also a link that's wiki in bold. That'll take you to a lot of resources. Yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're interested. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, we used to use this as our leaderboards, and then, speedrun.com has taken like a huge popularity and stuff. So we migrated. Like we have the times in both, and then speedrun.com just falls back to this page for the strategies and the routes and the tutorials and everything.
Yeah.
It gives us a little bit more, more customization options to use the wiki.page page.
Certainly.
Maybe one day we'll not have the second leaderboard, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. And we weren't planning on having a speedrun.com board, but we just looked one day and someone that we don't know made it. So,
That's funny, yeah.
whatever. We thought, let's just do it. It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, since the times were like really outdated and stuff, we just took it to our hands to actually try and keep them.
Yeah, he didn't, have all the times up there, so we're like, might as well just to complete it. Let's see how it goes. It's a pretty nice site. Okay, I made a safety save there. Because the thing is, on Japanese, I'm trying to load within the first 3 frames, and if you're in the second or third, it's pretty hard to tell whether you made it or not. If you don't get if you don't see any audio or visual from the file select screen, you know you got it. You got the first possible frame. But yeah, it was worth doing an extra save.
So what happens if you get the wrong RNG?
Basically, what'll happen is
you
I'll
die.
hit. Yeah, and I would even hit this guard for 59. His HP is 60, so I'm doing exact damage.
Oh, okay. So even though there's a lot more than just like enemy patterns that are random, it has to do with like the randomness of the battle or damage and all that.
Yeah. But it still would have been too low, even in this RNG window, if we were just doing English strats. I had to pick up an extra power tab, actually, to make that work. And the other, I guess we should kind of talk about the differences between Japanese and English. One of the big things, which you haven't seen yet, is the de-equip glitch. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the decoop glitch. So this was kind of the biggest obstacle to running Japanese, because what the decoop does basically is it gives you resistance to magic, to all magic on Japanese. But on English, in place of fire resistance, it gives you actual magic attack power boost. And especially since we're skipping all these bosses and stuff now, and being lower level, that magic boost is really nice to have. And it's really a bummer not to have on J.
Yeah, this Dragon Tank battle on Japanese is actually a major reset point.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
you get out the RNG, like there's no real backup for this. He'll just destroy you basically. While on
Yeah.
English you can just use Fire Whirl, which is fire, and since you have the attack, the magic power up because of the unequipped glitch, you can easily beat this boss.
Yeah, it's
Take
crazy.
small time loss.
Yeah, so this RNG manipulation here is absolutely necessary to survive.
Yeah.
Sorry, and you were saying that you set up the save like 10 minutes ago or something? Or is that right? Or
I don't know. The trial was pretty long. It was before the trial, though. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, when you save and reload once, and you load within the certain window he was talking about, like quarter of a second, you basically take basically what we call a seed, and that seed you play around with it, and you enter a battle, and depending on which battle is it advances by a certain number. If you do an attack, it advances as well.
Yeah.
So with that, you can control criticals and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So I had to find a script for this tank where I had enough criticals to take out the head fast enough. And basically the goal is to kill the grinder, the wheel there, before it runs me over a second time. And it's pretty tight to do that.
oh wow.
There we go.
How many criticals do you get in the fight?
I think it's like 4, maybe. I'm not sure. But
There we go.
yeah, that last one is necessary. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I need to do on Japanese, or sorry, on English, we only fight one of the guards outside the prison. But I needed to actually fight 2, not only for the RNG, but to actually get an extra level up. We fight the Dragon Tank on with Chrono level 3 on English. I had to be level 4 though. So yeah, pretty major little sticking point when it came to routing Jay out. But after that, it gets a little bit nicer. Well,
Sort
yeah.
of.
I think here's the thing. Like back when Obda routed it out, you know, everyone's playing on English, of course. Just because, you know, the rationale was just like, oh, it's better to play on English for like marathons and stuff. I mean, I can't argue with that, but to me that, you know, that wasn't a good enough reason to not at least, you know, check out Jay and see, because, you know, Japanese text is always faster. Like, Chrono Trigger, I actually worked out the text speed difference. It comes out to about 6.5 minutes saved in the run. That's approximate though.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a legitimate differences with, you know, the glitches you were just talking about and whatever other stuff's coming up. So it's like it's not just the same in text differences. There's a lot of different things.
Yeah. So we didn't even know though that the de-equip didn't work the same on J. So when I started figuring it out, I think I even bought a J card before I even knew, and I was like, huh, the Dragon Tank is destroying me, dude. Like, what's going on? And then I realized the damage was so much lower. And I was like, okay. So it was pretty much, yeah. I still really wanted to know, like, whether Japanese could be faster, but it was clear that that was not going to be an easy task to find. how much faster or slower Jay was going to be because of these things. Especially because we weren't scripting fights at the time. We pretty much script most fights now. So the way to kind of gauge how much slower Jay was going to be would be like, okay, how many extra antipodes or do what we're going to need to use on Masa, how many extra fires are we going to need to use on Minisbel, and then of course Magus is a nightmare. And yeah, it was pretty clear that Jay was not going to be worth it at that time. Oh yeah, Lab 16, these are kind of, we kind of call these platformer segments a little bit, because they're pretty action-packed. We kind of just zoomed through that. But one of the major things we got there was a Berserker. We like the Berserker. Berserker makes your, whoever's wearing it, gives them an auto attack kind of status. And it makes them deal 125% damage. And also, I think it boosts their defense by 125%. I think that's correct. It might be 133. I think it's 125. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. Well, we're not gonna see it, but we're gonna see the fatal glitch again, and we're not gonna even see the boss. But there's a boss right there, trust us. So basically the way this room works is that the game tries to troll you, because there's a beeping sound. So you normally try to open the menu because you know something's coming up for the boss.
The alarm, yeah.
And then if you try to open the menu, you get a battle before the boss. So what we do right there is we change the controllers. So we open the menu with a different button. Each runner has their preference. Red Slash actually did that controller switch at the very start of the game. So he didn't have to switch the controllers right before this room, which is what most people do basically.
Yeah, it really doesn't save much time to do that, but yeah, I play with confirm on X and menu on A for the whole game. That's just what I'm used to now. Yeah.
Yeah, I switch my controllers around too.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, kinda actually the reason. Oh, hey, this bug room. How did it go? Oh, actually, yeah, that was a great bug room. It's pretty hard to not get caught by those guys. And I'm still preserving the RNG after Dragon Tank. I want to script the bugger fight coming up in Protodome, and then after that, to a minor degree, the first fight in the factory.
Yeah.
Oh, there we did. Did another fade out there.
Yeah.
Which, so we skipped the whole thing where we learn about Lavos, and also where to go, where the Protodome is.
So it skipped like one part of the cutscene, or like half a cutscene, or what?
Yeah, it skipped most of the cuts. I'm not really sure why it puts you here.
Yeah, it's more than half.
But yeah, it's pretty huge.
Why does it work in two parts? We really don't know.
Yeah.
But if you don't go inside the room again and when you exit the room, you get the bike key basically, which you need to cross to the other part of the future. You won't get it, so you need to actually enter again and watch the second part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't skip the bike race.
I've been saying it. If somebody finds a bike key skip, I'll give them $50.
Bounty.
I always mention it.
Nice.
It would change a lot of the game. Well, a lot of the boring parts here in the future.
Mm-hmm. You all match it. Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really nice. Also, Johnny is the hardest boss in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Are we gonna see a troll? Not here.
I hope not. No,
Hope not.
But yeah, what was pretty funny is, for a long time, Sub 3 was kind of the holy grail we were after, That was back in last year. I finally got a sub 3 in February this year, so it took a long time. Well, part of it was I also wasn't running, so I did a few runs and we made it. However, I actually have a loss to Johnny in that first sub 3, and I felt so bad that it was off record.
Oh man.
It's like a minute loss.
So what's the
Yeah.
deal with this? Is there any speed tech or is it just a troll?
Oh well, if you get a good run, like get a good race, if you do a lot of bouncing off the front of them, it actually speeds the race up. So you want to play it a little bit risky, you know.
What
So-
constitutes losing this though?
Just not being ahead when the finish line gets there.
Oh, so you just have to time it. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also it's pretty troll because you know, by having a good race, it speeds it up. So you kind of want to listen to the background music, or I do at least want to listen to the Johnny's music to kind of tell when I should boost ahead. But you know, that can come sooner or later. So you really want to kind of ignore the music. Yeah.
Yeah, the safe strat is when you get like 100 from the finish line, you just bonk behind him and then just boost
Mhm.
at the very end
Yeah.
in front of him.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
just-
that
so-
loses time, obviously.
Okay.
and
I think
it's
that's what
just-
everybody casually does. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's just so intense. You're in the moment, you know. You're getting combos, but yeah. You
It's
just gotta-
funny. It's funny
Get
that
on
one of the more like non-RPG parts of the speedrun causes an abnormal amount of stress.
He's the
Yeah,
man.
it's like. But Johnny is definitely harder in getting jumps off of Johnny. There is definitely harder in Mario RPG, at least.
Damn. Nice one.
Yeah, I've been kind of secretly picking that up, but
Ooh.
yeah, that's a huge little obstacle there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love how many similarities there are between the games, like design-wise. But I won't go into that. Like, okay, you have to notice. You know, you gotta appreciate how similar the color scheme is between Chrono and Mario. You know, red hat, red shoes, blue overalls.
I'm sure that's what they were going for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then here we got Gino. Okay. Anyway.
So I have a question. So you guys split the categories right now. You have no
Yes.
LSS and LSS, right? But you don't split between English and Japanese. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. At first we were kind of thinking let's split them up between English and Japanese because in my mind. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just touch on LSS a little bit. Before when we thought it was impossible, it was basically because we were only trying it on English. Once I tried it out on J, I realized, oh my gosh, because the text is so much slower, it makes it easier. Sorry, shorter. Yeah. So when we did, you know, figure out LSS, you know, kind of, you know, what I want to say, temporarily. Well, we still didn't know very much about it at all at the time. But
Yeah.
it was pretty clear that it was a lot easier on J, and in my mind, if anyone was going to manage to do LSS in real time, it was going to be on J. So I was like, okay, so there's no reason to split between LSS and no LSS. We can just, you know, Japanese runs will probably use LSS, and English runs, it's going to still be impossible. And, I kind of wanted to mention this too, but the reason I started messing around with changing control schemes and experimenting with that, I actually have to give Jackifer credit for that back later in 2013. when I was watching a lot of Super Metroid runs, and then this guy disappeared out of nowhere. And Jack's a freaking great storyteller, as anyone who watches him can tell you. But yeah, that's the reason I thought, okay, let's try messing around with control schemes. And I actually used dash on L, and he uses dash on L in Super Metroid, and I think it really helps because you get to take your finger off the B button and you get to like piano the other keys with your right hand.
And, sorry, you can map any control you want. Is that right?
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
So I did that all at the start of the game stuff. Oh, by the way, this is the slime fight. This is like the only random thing in the game.
Slimes killing me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, this and the jurors not in J. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I didn't even make the
Yeah.
the Dragon Quest connection. Sorry, I'm bad at RPGs.
Yeah, but basically this fight, it's decided on when you enter the room, the pattern you get. So basically we want to get more greens, because they have less defense. But the thing is, if you get them mixed up and there's a green between a red or orange one, whatever you see it as, they counterattack. So sometimes it's not so good to get a 3-2 pattern as we saw there.
Yeah, it's possible to get all greens, which is really nice. The greens are weaker. Did you touch on that? Maybe not.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, if you have all greens, you're not in danger of getting counterattacked. And it's just
So, what about that fight? Why can't you manipulate slimes there to get the pattern you want?
it's based on the game time frame that you enter the room. So
Got it. Okay.
A 1 in 60 chance of getting all greens actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you do get it, it's really, really hype.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten it in a run, but I've seen it in practice before, and I have it scripted out actually in case I ever do get it. I'm ready. We'll see if I can pull it off though. I might be too hype.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I actually got it at Scrub-a-thon earlier this year.
Oh, crazy! Yeah.
It's so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, the reason I was making a connection with Jackifer is he kind of earlier this year, April, he just showed up and he wanted to do LSS on English, and we were like, oh, okay, let's do it. Let's figure it out. And we just had a month grinding out and trying to understand it, and it really helped a lot. We found out a lot of things about LSS that I was even able to apply to the Japanese and make it more consistent. So that was a big deal. But yeah, that's okay. So that's when I realized, okay, splitting up Japanese and English is kind of weird because we're gonna end up with a lot of categories. So for now, anyway, they're merged. I mean, it might change in the future. It's whatever.
Yeah, we want to encourage more runners. There's actually only 3 runs on the LSS leaderboard. There's Gand, there's Jack, and then there's Red Slash with the world record. I think Chaos also did one run.
Yep.
Late last year, sorry.
Yeah, I forgot to touch on that too. Chaos was in fact the first guy to complete a speed run, real-time speed run with LSS. And
yeah, we used to watch him go for hours and hours and trying it. He would get nothing.
Oh yeah. He was the first one to even do LSS in real time. He used a save state, and then Jackifer ended up being the first guy to do it on English without a save state. And that was pretty funny. I don't think he even realized that he was the first guy to do it. We were just all so determined to make it happen. We didn't want to like break it to him.
But he made it work.
How
That's
hard it
great.
actually
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It took him a long time, but he really did it. He was pretty hyped when he actually did it.
Yeah, he really put in the work. Yep, he knows how to get it done. Yeah, I guess the Czar series kind of trolled me a bit here. Huh?
So you can't skip this boss fight, but you can skip other ones. What's the deal with this one?
Well, some fights, like the Dragon Tank included, you try to use save anywhere. It doesn't work for whatever reason. Like, I don't know why. It's because you can't get past the trigger for it. Most of the save anywhere skips. We want to actually like time our save so that we can just barely. We're actually skipping over the trigger tile. Yakra is the exception. Like, for some reason, you can save on the trigger, and then as long as you off screen him, like get him off screen, then the game will count it as being beat.
Yeah. Also, a little theory I have is that when after the battle it takes you somewhere else, normally we cannot skip that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Basically, most
okay.
of the cutscenes, or if there's like a long cutscene, like the frog cutscenes we're gonna see later on, that's like 3 minutes. Since there's a team change after that, that they force you to change your team, you can't skip it. So that's how I always viewed them. Like if you have a cutscene or like it takes you somewhere else after a battle, you normally can't skip those fights or bosses, whatever.
Yeah. For example, Hecarim's coming up, so that's a good example. So we actually skip his trigger, but we do want to still like trigger him while we're able to move around and getting him off screen once again. Just like I don't know, automatically sets the flag that the battle's over, and so he destructs, and then there's some dialogue that you need afterwards that progresses the storyline so that you can you can progress. Yeah.
It's not only about killing the boss, but because you actually can just run past Hecarim basically, but you need to wait and watch a dialogue that actually advances the game story.
Yeah, that's important. So if you don't do that, it's actually pretty funny. Like if you get back to Think Magic, if you get back to Guardia Forest without getting that Hecarim dialogue, the castle guards will actually like trap you again and make you go through the gate to the future all over again.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I got a question. So about movement speed in this game, is it always the same? Because you're sort of in this isometric field, but you only not really. It's just that you kind of move sort of strangely, right? You don't move in diagonals, and is movement speed something you have to consider, or is it not really a problem? You just kind of move around at the same speed.
That is actually something that I kind of that I put a lot of work into. You have basically separate movement speeds on each axis that you're moving on. So like while you're running upwards, for example, if you're also running left or right, it doesn't hinder you on the y-axis. So you can really make use of that by like hugging walls in the direction you want to go, clipping corners and stuff. There's no penalty for it, so you really want to do that as much as you can. But I don't know how much really it adds up. But yeah, I try to do optimal movements through every room, which is pretty hard to do in like a area like this where the walls are all jagged and stuff. But you can still shoot for bumping off the rocks in a certain way and stuff. Like you don't actually avoid this rock here. it really changes it up, keeps it interesting. but I think I think movement is pretty easily optimizable in this game. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
This game's actually really... I don't know, it's a little... Like, when I played it casually, I remember having a lot of trouble. Mainly because I didn't know you could get magic.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, basically we skipped through all the battles in this cave. Something that we haven't touched, and I just want to quickly mention it, is there's two types of battle. Right here's gonna do a fade out to skip a battle. So there's the battles that you can't see the enemies. So if you touch the trigger on the floor, they activate. And then right here, like there's the bats where you can't see them. And if you touch them, whatever, the fight starts basically. So there's those two types of battles that actually give this game a lot of... I don't know, it makes it nice change of pace, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. How...
Okay, Heckran, let's just go.
Yep, YOLO. We did it. Basically, it's pretty risky to not make a safety save there. Because if you run up too high, you engage the fight. But also, if you menu too low, it's pretty hard to correct that and get out of the menu and run a couple more pixels forward. And you can't, if you're a little bit short, you can't just make your save there, because you are actually on the trigger, and it's counting down, ready to start the fight. Yeah, I can kind of talk about how those room triggers work. So I was running upward, and I released B, just released run, just for a few frames. Because room triggers like that are going on a 28 frame cycle. And at a specific point in the cycle, it gives you extra time to get past the trigger so that you can save past it. Okay, so here is my attempt at any end of time save anywhere. So okay, I got save anywhere for Heckran and used it to skip him. And normally, what happens is you keep save anywhere until you pass through a room that has a save point. Well, end of time has a save point, unfortunately. So what we used to do is we had to go make another trip to the cathedral. Zombor's the next thing that we want to skip, and we need save anywhere for that. So we go to the cathedral to get save anywhere again. But this trolled me so bad. This shouldn't even happen. I'm getting the 1999 text box first when I want 600 AD first. Fact is, if I had followed kind of Ottavino's findings, his advice for this that he found on English, that would have been a lot smoother. I think that was 4 tries. Yeah.
What's the deal with your characters flying off screen?
Yeah, actually that's very similar to... That's part of what we use... Oh, I missed bird escape. Gotta do bird escape. Yeah, but that is one of the things that we use in LSS. That's actually kind of that playing around, that end of time play around, is one of the first things Inichi found, and he didn't think there was any use for it, but he saw that you could store, you could take Gasper's text across the room and actually store pillars, store those warps, because they're not going to execute as long as you have Gasper's text still open. And yeah, storing those multiple events and they're each on their own little timer, and the way you sync them up, it can bug the game out and let you do things you keep... What happened was we kept some control, even though we were sliding across the screen because the pillar was activated. We were supposed to totally lose control due to that, but for some reason we were able to open the menu still. And if you open menu, switch characters, you get to get your movement control back. And I took that opportunity to run down to the save point and get safe anywhere that way. It's pretty tricky.
Got it.
Mhm. So here is Zombies coming up, and Ottavino put a lot of work into this. Like, this is one of the first things Ottavino worked on. It's crazy. And then he found that you can actually script the captain. Oh, I kind of botched a little bit, but I have a recovery method, and you can't hear it, but the 28 frame cycle actually like perfectly matches up with this music here on the bridge. The music is like 129 beats per minute. It's like a perfect fit. So I don't even know. I don't even know, but that let me do a backup kind of movement instead of having to leave the screen and come back and try again.
Okay, so this is what you were talking about before, that a lot of those bosses that you're sort of like passing through a corridor, you can skip those, but when you're heading like a dead end, you're gonna switch locations or get a party swap. Those are the fights you can't skip, so that's why like Heckround and Zomborg, you're passing through an area, so you can skip those.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, Hekra, Jakra.
Yeah. I hadn't
more.
really thought about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, like right here, Masamune, we've tried, honestly.
Mhm.
This is one of the ones I think you can actually skip. Because there's nothing at the end. Like, when you kill Nesbel, basically, like, it takes you to another place. But when you kill Masa, you still need to move inside the cave you are. So, this one might be possible. We've played around with it, but no luck. Yet.
Yeah. So this is like my favorite area in the game. Unfortunately, it's so short now because we don't get the silver earring and silver stud down there, falling down the waterfall. We're basically already at the end of it. And it's like, this is my favorite music in the game too. I'm not sure what track's playing right now, but
it's not the same one.
No, definitely. So so finally we're gonna see a D-equip. This is the first instance of a D-equip in the Japanese run. I even like to say that D-equip is pretty much English only because it has very limited use on Japanese. I'm only going to D-equip one item from 3 different characters, and that is solely to survive Magus, essentially. I D-equip Chrono and Frog's helm and Robo's armor. That's it. And that also lets me skip a lot of shopping. Like, every time you D-equip, you have to sell stuff, so you're able to D-equip again. And on English, it's a shopping gauntlet.
Yeah, basically the way the D-equip works is you select your accessory, and if you press up plus R on the same frame, you can actually select, like, it shows the accessory on the armor slot, but if you try to equip the accessory, there's nothing there. So it requires you to have no extra armor for your character to equip. So basically you equip nothing and you take it away. So you need to de-equip your character, sell, and then de-equip the next one, sell. So in English there's like a little 30-second menu we do, where we just unequip characters over and over.
Yeah, pause there. This is actually a pretty tricky fight. Because I have Berserker Robo. It's actually very tricky. I don't even want to get into it. Like, it took, like, one of the big goals I had writing Japanese was, when I was still trying to determine whether Japanese was even going to be faster or not. That meant I had to find new scripts for all the bosses that I felt were as good or better than the English scripts. Like, I really was gunning for that. And I got really lucky with this one. Like, it went through a few iterations, but I find it just happened on this god manipulation right here. if you're familiar with like the English version of this fight, it's gonna be, it's pretty impressive in my opinion.
Yeah.
So now I just want to watch this for a minute.
So basically, what's happening right now is that he manipulated it in a way that Masa's just moving from character to character, and then you're hitting him at the exact time, so that he actually never actually hits you. He just switches targets.
That's great.
So you just him moving along the middle, basically trying to hit someone, but he just doesn't get the chance. And that's just Red Slash being a genius while planning this fight.
It's me being lucky. Oh man. See, the thing is, Masa, he's really sensitive to your like the HP you have, even like the armor you have on changes things. And this was like, so I mean, even if your HP is all the same, like different armor changes. I don't even know why. It's kind of similar for the elixir glitch to the old elixir glitch we used to do. It was really sensitive to stuff like that. Really, I still don't know why that is. Luckily, we found a different way to do it. But yeah, for this, Robo absolutely had to have that extra speed tab. Yeah, which is, I mean, it's a little bit of a detour. I don't really need the speed tab later. Well, yeah. Okay, for slashing Magus.
Can you briefly describe what a script is for this game and what goes into making one?
Okay, basically, even though this, the battle system for Chrono Trigger kind of lets you, be pretty flexible with, how long you take between turns and stuff. And it can get pretty random that way if you're just playing casually. But the thing is, if you are inputting attacks during attack animations, like let's say, like one thing you can do is wait for a boss to attack. Like the boss is always going to attack you a certain number of frames into the fight, to start out with, perhaps. And the other tool we have is the holding X, which makes you attack first possible frame. And so doing a combination of that, like only inputting attacks, or also just inputting attacks as quickly as you can, which is a little bit tougher, but you can still make a script that way. We try to avoid that though, because it usually turns out both safer and faster when you have a fight where you don't have a lot of scary variables in it. It turns out that attacking as soon as possible ends up being faster. What do you know? So yeah, it's a lot of trial and error to find scripts that work and to improve them, especially.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically trial and error. If you want to see what they look like, I just posted it in the chat. It's just basically who attacks when and stuff. Like, basically it's the pattern you follow every single time. Since you're normally on the exact same RNG, the fight's gonna behave the exact same way. If you do things the exact same way.
Got it.
Is this your boss notes? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was great. I mean, okay. Not only the reason Jerry got us all together in the first place was so we could, is you were working on the route doc at the time. Like, before you came along, the route was getting outdated. People were supposed to be working on it, but it got outdated. So you were gathering all of us together to get the route up to date, and then try to make sure we had all the best strats, all the best ideas documented there for everyone to have publicly. And I think that helped a ton too. As far as getting new runners in there as well. And your boss notes, having that separate was a really cool idea. I remember when we were talking about that back in August or something last year. Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, actually, everything started when Ottavino basically. Okay, so there was first. Well, not first. I'm just gonna say like. July last year, the world record for any percent had no RNG manipulation. It was a 313. And then Ottavino came along, and he got a 303 with actually, RNG manipulation.
Yeah. Oh, I mean the fact is, Ottavino had the 313.
Yeah.
But that was from Christmas 2013.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty old by the time he actually improved it, and he improved it by 10 minutes with all this new scripting.
And he got the world record, and for 2 months, like, the video was there, but there was no route, like, nobody updated it. So I just started working on that, and working on the scripts, like, how the fights worked, and basically trying to understand more about RNG manipulation.
Yeah.
And then we all got together, basically.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So here is... You probably noticed I closed the text boxes at a very kind of specific timing, so that actually influences how the reptites move, so I can do a slash. Because otherwise they usually just stay in a horizontal line, and they're not lined up at all. This is actually something Ottavino found as well. Speaking of, Ottavino did a ton of work on this. Yeah. Before him, let's see. If I can go back a little bit further, when Obda started routing it, and when he was doing runs, he actually was able to get the elixir glitch on the first inner lavas, but he wasn't able to do the second one to kill the core. And so that was, so most of the route was oriented around, leveling up enough, getting strong enough to be able to fight the core legitimately. And then
30 minutes of grinding.
Yeah, 30-minute grind. That is also in Enichi's 2007 run. But Kile appeared in like June 2013, and he had figured out how to get the second elixir glitch to work. And he was the one also who scripted Flea, and shortly after that Slash as well he scripted. And he also figured out some manipulations
for Magus.
Yeah, for Magus, and he also did the mash reload before Nizbel so Ayla could get some crits.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So he originated all that. He basically started the RNG manipulation tradition, and then Ottavino picked up on that and started re-scripting everything as well. And it was a pretty long process. I can attest to that, having done it for Japanese pretty much independently. But yeah. So, okay. Kile found the way to elixir glitch the final boss. And so that made the new final boss essentially the lava shell. So we could kind of reroute things. We can cut out a bunch of grinding and other stuff we needed to fight the core. So lava shell is the final obstacle now. And so what Kile was doing, he was getting gold earring for Chrono, silver earring on Ayla, so that they'd have enough HP to survive the needles. And I don't know why I started investigating this, but I thought to myself, oh yeah, okay, it's because I heard rumors about future skip. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember where I first heard it. I think I heard it from Avda. I was like, oh my gosh, future skip, what the heck could that be? Because no one even knew what it was. They just knew, maybe you could skip a feature segment. And so Well, okay, it was me who didn't know what it was. So I was kind of naive about that. I was like, okay, so you find the gold earring. Sorry, you find it. You have to return to the future to get it. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to skip the revisit to the future. So, man, it must be possible. So how are they thinking of doing it? But maybe they put the silver earring on Ayla instead. So you're not going to survive the needles, but you can still survive the destruction range from the heavens attack. So I did a lot of work to like, try to make that happen. Because there's also a Lumen Robe in the future in that same little room.
Yeah, super helpful.
So I needed to find a new armor to replace that, and it turned out there was the blue mail in that inn that you just conveniently are passing by. And then the third thing was where we're going to find the second elixir, because the elixir was also in that room. And so I was looking through the map, and I was like, okay, there's one in Guardia Castle. Can we even get in there? Because no one had even tried to go in there. But apparently the guards will stop chasing you out after you beat Magus. So that's pretty fortunate. We were able to get the elixir from that, and that's what's new. So that's what Ottavino did. I PM'd him on Twitch about that possibility, and he took that and he put that into the 303, and I was so floored by that. I was really proud to have contributed, because I wasn't really in the speedrun scene, but I was really into trying to route stuff out and figure them out. Yeah.
It's really cool to me to see that somebody has an idea and then somebody else takes it and runs with it, and you've presented 10 examples of that so far, and it's such a community thing that people are contributing all together. It's not like one guy's just grinding it out. It's people in Japan, you got Tassers, everybody's working together.
It's another unfortunate thing too, that there's not really a Japanese community for this game. We like to joke that they like Chrono Cross a lot more.
I think that's true, yeah.
Whatever Japanese runs there are, they just do glitchless. So there's no glitch runs of this in Japanese.
Got it. Yeah.
So that was kind of part of why we decided to have the timing for this run, even though it's in Japanese. We're still going to just time it on the final input, killing the core. I think that's SDA timing. I'm not certain though. Not really.
Start timing on the after you confirm the title screen. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then that's SDA timing, right? Or no, SDA is usually when you gain control of your character. I think that's why New Game Plus does it. Now I think about that. They start timing when Chrono gets out of bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Zelda, they start timing when Link moves. Yeah, so it's not SDA timing then.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but for some reason we started timing at the title screen. So this fight, I'm actually on the same RNG as English. It's going to be very similar, except I'm using Robo because Lucas Fire isn't really that strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rocket.
It also has a longer animation.
Oh yeah, never so as well. I never thought about that.
But yeah, in Japanese she would deal almost no damage.
Yeah. Japanese. Ooh, from chat here. Does Japanese hint that Azawa is female? I don't think so. And I actually found out a way to find out for certain. And that's the opening, the animated cutscene on the PlayStation version. Unless female reptile anatomy looks like male human anatomy, it's pretty clear as always male.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah, I never even thought to check out that cutscene. But I still think I've always thought of it as always female. I don't know. Maybe it might be the pink cape or something. But yeah. So this one wasn't too bad to script. Pretty straightforward. Inichi actually used Berserk Ayla and Robo combined, which I didn't realize. I might have to look into that, but it's pretty good for now. At least we 2-round him before he does the electrical release.
Yeah, this fight's pretty fast. Normally we try, well, in both English and Japanese, you get it before he releases electricity the second time. So it's basically one cycle.
Yeah, so it wasn't really, I mean, it's probably not a big deal that I finished this fight before the second electrical discharge, but for me, I really wanted the fights to look, once again, as good or if possible, better than English. And if I was ever able to find something that was better than English, I was sure to share it. Like, I found a Berserk Robo Strat for Masa in English, but it was pretty iffy.
Random.
Yeah. I don't know. It's part of the reason, though, is for some reason Virtual Console has some odd differences that kind of break certain scripts, like for Masa and Slash. Very minor little things. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, we've always done our best to make sure that script that works on SNES console would also work on the Wii Virtual Console. I mean, Ottavino ran on Wii, so he was able to test that pretty thoroughly and make sure.
I just want to make sure we're clear on. So Ottavino, he mostly runs 100%, right? But he has showed up and done a lot of work on this game.
Let's see. He picked up 100%
After 80%.
Yeah, shortly after he got his 303. When we all got together to work on the route and stuff, he was beginning to work on 100% route. And yeah, that was in, well, he probably had a good deal of it finished by then. 100% has some interesting challenges as well. There's more elixir glitches, that stuff that gave us a lot of trouble, even 90%. Yeah. He spent, I'm trying to remember, like, you can elixir glitch Reactor the 13th, and if I remember correctly, he put in like 20 hours trying to find a setup that worked for that.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Trial and error.
Yeah. Because once again, he was running on Virtual Console, and so stuff that he found on emulator was not necessarily going to work. So he was finding a bunch of possible ways to do it on emulator, and then having to test each one.
Yeah, everything that's on the route works on emulator, SNES, or Wii Virtual Console.
Yep.
We've made sure of that.
Yeah, and it usually turned out, if I found something cool that worked on SNES, and it didn't quite work on Virtual Console, all it took was for us to kind of collaborate and try to and actually improve it. Those things usually get improved when we get them to work on the Virtual Console. It's pretty neat. Okay, so there we got bird skip again.
So, how many? Do most people run this on console? A few people on VC? What's the split?
Most people run on emulator, actually.
Oh yeah.
But between Virtual Console and SNES has the most runners for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ottavino might be the only VC runner.
I think he. Oh, I'm not even sure. I believe he was going to switch. I think he was going to switch over to console.
Yeah.
And I mean, SNES Warrior also was running on VC at first, and he switched over to console. Because the other thing that makes VC problematic is that it tends to kind of crash on you at very inconvenient times. Well, yeah, any crash is inconvenient, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It can crash randomly. I had my best run ever on emulator crash while I entered a normal area, the castle. It happens.
Was that with the music glitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had the music glitch on emulator. I don't think I've had it on console yet, but I believe it has happened on console.
We've never had it on
Before.
console actually. It happens to Magus, an emulator,
Mhm.
and then Otavino on Wii, and myself on emulator. That's the ones we have recorded,
Yeah.
What
but
is-
not on console yet.
What is this music glitch?
It's where you enter a room and the music isn't playing, and then whatever you do, like you try to leave or try to open a menu, you're doomed. It's gonna give you a black screen. It's awful.
Oh no! So you know it's coming, but you can't do anything to fix it.
Yeah, it's like yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, we don't know what to do about that. But yeah, SNES Warrior points out, even in the Dactyl Nest opening, he opened a chest and it froze up on him.
Jeez.
And I actually wonder if that was a music glitch or not. I don't think we ever confirmed one way or the other. But that would just mean that even opening the chest or triggering anything. Oh yeah, I've actually had a music glitch in the room with a lava spawn, and just starting fight made it freeze up.
That's big.
Mm-hmm. Just anything. If the music's not playing, it's over.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we've. Mhm.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. We've done pretty well. Once we got together and we were watching each other's runs and stuff, and kind of just bouncing questions off each other, like why did this go wrong? Why did that go wrong? Like especially back when we were trying to understand the RNG more completely, we were able to, that really helped us to prevent a lot of, BS going down and ruining runs. Which when in a longer run, that's kind of a big deal to be able to keep runs alive.
For sure.
But yeah, there's some things like the music glitch that just has us stumped, but we've done our best.
Yeah, and it's really rare. Like we've only run runs like 3 or 4 times in, I don't know, thousands of attempts. So it's not something that happens like all the time, and it can happen like every 5 runs. No, I think I have over 500 attempts and only 1 time. So it's just just really random.
Yeah. But all those failed runs, they meant something, man. They helped,
Oh yeah, for
they
sure.
helped us figure stuff out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's
Just-
something to be said about just people playing a game. It doesn't have to be at a super high level. It can just be anybody. Anybody just helping out and playing a game can make strides for discoveries.
Yeah, I think I was like the scapegoat back in the day. I was one doing more runs, so I was just trying all the setups and stuff.
Oh, the guinea pig, yeah.
Yeah, the guinea pig. Sorry, scapegoat. No, yeah, guinea pig.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, you put a lot of work into doing runs. Yeah, and I was fine just studying them and tinkering.
Yeah, everybody contributes in different ways. I can't say I've found most of the stuff. I haven't found anything actually, RNG based and stuff.
I mean,
We all contribute in different ways.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember. So, let's see. After Ottavino got the 303, and when was that? It was
July 2014.
I
I remember perfectly.
That was well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 303.
Oh yeah. Okay, I was getting mixed up. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't really. We didn't really talk much in the community at all. During that time. But I was always sure to be in Otto's chat in case he started streaming in his stream. And yeah, and then so shortly after he got the 303, and I kind of asked him about when he was going to start writing up, start writing up the route a little bit more. He just randomly messaged me in his chat, like I was just lurking there, and he asked me if I knew the values for the RNG windows, and I'm like, what? what does that mean? And let's see. I don't remember how it went down, but that's when it like, finally clicked to me, like how we can manipulate RNG and stuff. And I really started going into that, and that's when I went back in on Jay, trying to make nice scripts, because I had the knowledge that I was missing. that little hint from Otta. And then a few months later, yeah, we all met up, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, from that 303, the no shell skip, which is what we call it right now, has gone down to 255. And we thought the 303 was like super good, like it could only be like 40 seconds saved, like. But nope, it's been like 8 minutes down so far, and still counting.
Yeah, but I mean, we made a lot of improvements too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, end of time save anywhere on English. I found it on Japanese first, and I figured it was not going to be possible on English, but yeah, somehow. Oh yeah, SNES Warrior actually was bugging me to like for information about how, kind of the basic mechanics of it. He was using the heal bucket to try to make it work, and he got it. And we were like, okay, let's let's find the setup. And actually, I think that helped us kind of figure out LSS a little bit better too, because we realized that the specific pixel coordinate that you're standing on matters a ton for whether you're going to get it successfully or not. Yeah, and so the end of time LSS went through a few changes. Sorry, end of time save anywhere went through a few changes. Yeah, and we thought it was just 75% trig, whatever. But then Otta found, okay, actually, if you hit these 3-frame windows, this is actually when the text is writing out. Every fourth letter is bad, and then good, bad, good, bad. So you just have to try to hit a 3-frame window.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, 75% is good as it is, but
yeah.
And so, yeah, I failed to implement that on Jay soon enough, and that's why I lost a minute there on my Zombor split. That was my bad.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
So.
Do you actually get to try again on English? Not really, right?
Nah, it kind of just takes you away. On Japanese, though, you get to try again. Apparently. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, there's weird differences. It's kind of because one of them is a heal kind of event, and the other one is
oh yeah, you use the other
option dialogue. Yeah, there's strange differences.
Yep.
But it really helped us understand the mechanics, what was going on when you store those events and stuff. Oh, I gotta take a minute break. If that's okay, guys.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll be right back. Enjoy the flea fight. It's different than English.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Oops.
That's fine. I think you've all seen. I don't know if you've all seen it, but in the English fight, the flea fight is. Yeah, it's basically the bathroom break for the run, where if our RNG is actually set up correctly, Flea enters a state that she basically just laughs all the time, and by using Berserker on Frog, he just keeps attacking her until she dies, basically. So you literally need to only hit a button 2 times during this fight. In Japanese, it's a little bit different. Because as you saw right now, Red Slash is actually attacking her, so that she stays on that state. You can see, or you're gonna see it in a second. She's like sort of laughing with her head up, and what we know that causes that state is at the start, Frog's action bar filled at the same time. Flea attacked Chrono, so that caused both of their times to overlap. So by attacking at certain times, yeah, you can basically just skip her attack, and she just stays in that state for a while, which is it's pretty fun. But yeah, in the Japanese version, you actually have to press buttons. In the English, you can just put your controller down and wait for 16 attacks just to finish her off, or the flea male. I'm not gonna get into that.
Flea mail.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it there.
So I guess as a general note, it seems like in this game you don't have too many like sequence breaks, right? So you don't just like straight up skip a cutscene. Well, I guess there was an example of that earlier, but you skip like half a cutscene. But it's for the most part you're still following the same route that you would in a casual playthrough. But there's a lot of like small skips, or you skip a boss, or you skip this, or skip that. But for the most part, you're still following the same route. And is that true all the way up until LSS, or are there any?
Not really all the way up to LSS. Basically, all the way to Magus. We do like follow the certain way after Magus. Well, in any percent, we just need to get the Green Dream and go and fight Lavos Shell after doing LSS. But like basically for 100%, basically we do follow a certain route. Like you would follow in a casual playthrough, and then once you get the epoch that we don't see in any percent, you can just basically do whatever you want. There's like an open freedom in the game. So at the first is like really you follow the sequence, and then once you get to a certain point, which any percent is so much faster than we don't see it, the game just basically opens up and you get to do any of the side quests you want. Some we do like really under leveled in 100%.
Right.
Yeah, so right. Let's see. So you probably talked about the flea fight, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's see. There's basically two big kind of nightmare level bosses to script in this.
This was
like yeah, Slash. Oh boy, Slash is pretty awful. Like the other big one is actually Magus. Just finding the way to get him to only use lightning or shadow barriers, and then but apart from that, I mean it's a pretty big job, but after that it's not too bad. He's just on a timer waiting to do dark matter on you. But to script Slash, this guy doesn't let up. He's just wailing on you, attack after attack. So beating him fast is, yeah, really important. Not just for the sake of speed or for the sake of survival. So here, actually, Chrono dies on purpose. There's just no way he could survive here. And I think the RNG I have here is actually I got on the same RNG as for Nisbel. So coming up a little ways in. I actually don't remember exactly how this fight goes. I'm always kind of just focusing on my notes and not really looking at how exactly the battle's playing out for the viewer, But yeah, Frog's gonna get a ton of crits. The way the crit string is actually set up, it's a very nice little string. There's a crit and then 2 non-crits, crit, 2 non-crits. So I'm trying to have Chrono and Robo take those non-crits out of there, and Frog's getting all the crits. And then it'll hit the little patch of 5 crits in a row. A little ways in. Yeah. But yeah, I hate writing, scripting this guy. Oh. And yeah,
do you have the mid-tonic on Jay? The 8 frame?
Nope.
Okay.
That is English only. Audivino only. He put it in to make us nervous. Keep us on our toes.
Yeah. If not, it will be a whole Dex battle.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, the Japanese names of these characters are so different than what they are in English. This guy's name is Soiso, and Flea was Mayone. It's not even close.
Yeah, and then Aussie Vinegar. Aussie's in a pickle.
Ah.
Pretty sure that was on purpose, yeah. Woolsey, Ted Woolsey, translated this game too. And yeah, the guy is a master at making those little connections. I really think he did. Although anything that you find that feels like a coincidence, nah, it's not going to be. Let's see. I'm trying to think of another example. Anyway, so now, one of the big things that we try to do in routing this is cutting out as many menus as we can. On English, that turned into doing shelter skip, where we use a shelter right after slash, but then once we get to Magus, we actually skip the save point before Magus entirely. But that kind of entails making the fights a little bit different so that we don't take any damage. Also, try not to use MP, so we have MP to use on Magus. So that's why the next fight we're actually going to fight is the groupies. And anyway, you notice that what I did in J is actually skip the shelter at slash, so it's actually kind of perilous to do that, but
yeah, 3 HP chrono.
Yeah, but yeah, especially since he kind of needs the levels, the experience from the fights. Well, that's another thing I want to talk about that made Chrono Trigger kind of unique as far as RPGs go. A lot of people, tend to remember Chrono Trigger as being, fairly easy game. You really don't need to grind. You can one-shot enemies if you know what to do with them. What they're weak to. But another thing that makes them easy, makes it an objectively easy game, is all your characters outside of battle are actually earning 75% of the experience points. Which, yeah, I think is pretty rare.
It's pretty
kind
nice.
of deal. Yep. And once a character joins your party, even if they seem to leave or whatever, or seem to die, in Morrow's case, Morrow is still getting the experience from the Rolly Riders, Nuggets, and so forth, even though she's just not supposed to be existing. And so after Frog leaves as well, after Yakra, Frog is still getting experience from, Dragon Tank, R-Series, all that. So when he joins up with you again, he's keeping pace along with everybody else. Ayla is still getting experience from all this stuff too.
Yeah, that's really nice because it actually makes them viable once you get them. It's not like, okay, Chrono's always in my party, so he's gonna be over leveled, so I'm never gonna take him out. Just lets you create the party you want.
Yeah. So the only thing you gotta watch out for is having a character die in battle.
Yep.
And yeah, it's kind of a big deal in Chrono Trigger speedrun because all the experience matters, all of the tech points matter as well. We're gonna need to learn Spin Cut before Black Tyranno.
Yeah.
And Chrono can only be down by 8 tech points total, or maximum, by the time we're there. And pretty much every major battle where you're in danger of dying gives you 10 plus tech points. So,
Yeah.
yeah. You really can't die on any of these. Let's see. So, yeah, on Japanese, I'm still using fire. And yo, Avonus, by the way. What's up, man? Good to see you. On English, I found a way to use laser spin with Robo instead of using Luca. It's a little tiny bit faster just because you skip switching Luca in and out. But yeah, all of our on English, Luca can one-shot these jugglers with a fire. But on Japanese, it's necessary to have Luca use fire, Frog attack, and Chrono use slash just to take one down.
So, what is it about those fights that you can't escape from? Is it just like a story trigger, or do you choose, or?
We run from every fight that permits you to run. There's some where you try to run and it's like can't escape. And yeah, that's kind of weird. The middle fight of these three, you could escape for some reason. It's like, okay, you can't run from the first one, so you don't expect you to be able to run from the next one. But that actually crops up later on too. The lava spawns. Those are pretty tough obstacles to come across, but for some reason you can run away from the second one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Although that guy gives a lot of tech points, so it's kind of nice to fight him anyway. But if you're just trying to survive, like in a casual playthrough, like you don't even think to try to run away from them because you can run from the first one. Yeah,
I mean, when you play this game casually, at least myself, I didn't know how to run away because there's no indication of how to run away from battles.
That's true as well. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize you can run away, escape from battles. I always forget about that. Although, they kind of touch on that in there's a little tutorial thing in the mayor's house. I think they talk about it. Yeah, but there's so much information they give you, you can't remember it all if you're starting out. So it turned out that I could not skip this save point no matter what I did. So that's why I opted to skip the slash save point. And I actually need to equip Dark Mail, Doomfinger, and even Speed Belt. We don't even put Speed Belt on Robo now, do we? On English. No. Do we? No, it goes on Luca first.
Yeah, Speed Belt goes on Luca for Black Tyranno?
Yeah.
You use Luca on Black Tyranno, right? Still?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fire Flame Kick is pretty OP.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I needed to have all this extra equipment on Jay because this is going to be pretty grueling here. And actually, I had the toughest time starting out. Even after I had the script, taking out Magus before the second Dark Matter. But I kind of tweaked the script recently, like in October, and found a way to make it happen. Oh, that's also when I made the improved Magus refight script on the shell.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of on a Magus, what do you call it?
Rampage.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so this was a pretty neat fight. I started holding X, but there's a little tricky move I gotta do here, which is that Frog needs to sit and attack right when Chrono's ATB comes up. I used that trick a few times to make things work in this run. So I'm getting a lot of lightnings, and this is all fine, but in the second phase, so the first phase is going to take longer. I'm going to have to use more magic attacks on him to get his HP down below 4,500, which is when he starts his second phase.
Yeah, he has 6,666, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to carve out like 2,200 HP from him, which is a little bit slower. And then once he starts the second phase, on Japanese, or sorry, on English, we have Chrono Slash a bunch, and his slash is really powerful.
Yeah.
But I don't have that on Japanese, so it's really tight to get this fight over before the second Dark Matter. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it worked. Yeah, that's all I can ask for.
Yep.
Oh. Let's see. Yeah, so this was like, yeah, the last nightmare thing to script. Let's see. So back before LSS, when I was still trying to determine whether Japanese could be faster. The problem was we still had the shell fight, and the shell we have to face this guy again, and Nizbel, Azala, all that stuff, and that is a big problem because you lose like 2 to 3 more minutes on Jay, and so without LSS, yeah, it was definitive that Jay was slower, you know, yeah, but yeah, that's also why you're probably not gonna see anyone do a no LSS run on Jay, even though you could, but it's a slower version if you're fighting Shell.
Yep.
But yeah, on the fights before the Shell, Japanese loses like 5.5 minutes. So after accounting for the 6.5 minute gain from the text speed, yeah, it's not very much, but it's, yeah, LSS is also nicer on J, so that's kind of the major reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Why play on J for the LSS?
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So okay, I was kind of touching on how the last boss kind of shifted from being the core. We switched the core, so then it shifted to being the shell. With LSS, the last boss shifts to being Retinite. And we also cut out a lot of the preparation that we had to do for the shell. Including... What all did it include? Oh yeah, the blue mail. And actually we skipped the swallow, which makes Retinite tough, but...
I mean, it takes over a minute to get the swallow, so...
Yeah. Oh, the other thing, though, is for no LSS, you gotta charge the pendant and fight the golem and go through all that cutscene. With LSS, though, you skip that. You just...
Run back.
Yeah. The only reason we go up to Zeal... Alright, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But, yeah, the only reason we go up to Zeal is to plant the seed and unlock the Sunken Desert. And then we book it. So here I'm mixing in some X strikes and rocket punches. We don't rocket punch on English, but we need that extra damage.
Oh, we do rocket punch.
Oh, we do. Okay, my bad. Yeah, we do. Okay. Yeah, but I'm not slashing very often with Krana. I think it's almost over.
So does his defense go down in the second form?
Yes. He has very high physical defense in the first form. Like, it's not worth it to attack him. Also, he kind of has a counterattack if you do physical attacks on the first form. If you attack him twice in a row, he'll change his barrier. Basically a counterattack. Yeah. But then he lowers his defense in the second round. So you can just free for all, or whatever. Yeah, anything goes.
But yeah, in the first form, actually, Frog lowers his defense with the Masamune. So normally you attack with Frog to lower his defense, and then you use Lightning or Shadow. That's what we try to get him. Because it's what we have of magic to get his health down.
Yeah, actually, I tried to script Magus with with fire. I actually learned Fire Sword to start out with, just to see. And Fire Sword, Having fire sword is really nice. The problem is you have to go out of your way to learn spin cut before Magus. You can do a few extra fights. But on Japanese, since you have fire resistance, that was a viable thing you could do. It was a pretty fast fight. Problem is, learning spin cut was made it like 40 seconds slow or something. I don't know. Because one extra fight, even if you like one-shot the enemies or whatever, it's still a lot of time. Getting into those encounters.
This is the only bathroom break you have in the Japanese run.
Yeah.
It's like a minute cutscene. This text advances by itself, so no, we're not using turbo. No, this just advances on its own. You have exactly a minute actually to run to the bathroom, or get some water or eat some food, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit longer. But yeah, you pretty much just want to call it a minute, not try to go over.
I mean, it's a minute from when you like press A until you get like right here.
Oh yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was longer than that, but
it's a little bit longer. But you need to mash text after Magus dies for a bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Let's see. Oh, did Singing Mountain play yet during Magus or something? Before Magus? Singing Mountain, the unused track. The cool thing is it comes after Magus in the soundtrack, and it comes before Black Tyranno, Tyranno Lair. So, I don't know, it kind of makes sense that it's probably meant for Dactyl Nest or something along those lines. Or
maybe they removed something because of, I don't know, memory reasons or whatever.
Yeah, could be as well.
We will never know.
So, quickly, because just on the timer, we've got, about 40 minutes left. So, like, what is the trigger point that you need to get to first to be able to kind of start the sequence to end the game? Is it immediately after this sequence, or is it, after Black Tyranno that you can start the LSS, or like what's like the end point that you're going for right now?
Like, okay, yeah, the requirements for LSS are kind of,
Get the Green Dream.
Yeah, we need to be able to Elixir Gets Lawless, but also just to be able to perform LSS, we need specifically the two pillars on the very far left side of the End of Time, and those pillars are actually the ones that you unlock from beating Black Tyranno. So that's the other reason why that's a requirement. And then of course, in order to let's skip here. Oh man, that took a long time on this. Oh dear. Oh, I didn't realize. But yeah, that's a pixel perfect skip. You gotta get your X coordinate very specifically. It's the same one for this, but there's a nice little square on the ground you can see. Yeah.
It's always tough watching your runs, isn't it?
Yeah, boy. Ooh, I'm feeling a run back. So yeah, we go to Zeal just to plant the seed that unlocks Sunken Desert, which we also did in a 80% Classic in order to not only get the Green Dream, but there's some very strong armor and equipment in the desert. And also when you beat the desert, it unlocks a shop where you can buy chaos prevention helms.
Yep. The side cups.
Yeah. And it's kind of strange how the sorry, what am I trying to say? The status elements in this game kind of feel like they're thrown in as an afterthought. Like chaos kind of appears pretty frequently, but it's kind of used as like an obstacle for later dungeons, because because you have these bosses that are preventing you from passing because they inflict chaos on your whole entire party, and you don't have access to chaos prevention until pretty late in the game. Like, they're basically saying, you know, go do side quests so you can find those armors. But yeah, chaos is a big one. Some of the stats effects are like not even a big deal. Like, sleep is kind of annoying. I think there's a couple bosses that poison you, but otherwise you don't see poison.
Not that often.
No. Yeah, stat effects are pretty rare in this game. And then after battle's done, of course, they're all cleared up.
Yep.
So, yeah, they really don't play a very big role at all. But they're there. And you need heals, items called heal, to clear them. Yeah.
Yeah, the worst status effect, in my opinion, would be when somebody locks you.
Oh yeah, lock is another.
You can't use any of your techs.
Yeah.
So you just need to attack. Basically, you don't have options.
Yeah, in any percent classic, we need a bunch of experience and tech points from the Sunken Desert. And those are some pretty tough enemies. They like to lock you, unless you are manipulating the RNG.
Yeah, Sunken Desert's pretty tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Many runs have been lost there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the load, of course, being so tight as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You can skip this button, that dino button, but it's like random whether you get in the fight or not, so I stopped doing it. Unfortunately. Maybe I should bring it back. Yeah, it's really cool. Here's another place where Inichi's run surprised me. Like, all his movement through here is the same. Like, he already knew everything about the Trino layer. It's cool to watch.
Yep.
Okay, so I still have Berserker on Ayla, which this would be a big problem on English, but I'm having her Berserk here on purpose to set up the RNG for Black Tyranno. We don't really care that as much about the RNG on English, but here, in order to get the 2-round on BT, I gotta set up some crits for Ayla badly. And this is a kind of cool fight too. Unfortunately, it's pretty long.
Oh yeah.
It's long on English already. But yeah, it's pretty epic.
For sure.
Kind of got lost here. And okay. Oh. So here we actually skip Newsbell 2. Another really tough boss if you don't have Volt Bite. Yeah. This is where we would grind for half an hour in the old days.
Yeah, this battle exactly.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, it's so monotonous and just trying to keep track of when to because we would actually swap the Silver Stud back and forth between Ayla and Chrono in order to minimize how many times we had to go up and heal at the shelter at the save point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only monotonous, but you had to focus on what you were doing for half an hour.
There's a lot of battles here that he's just like walking around triggers. The main one is this. You have a 4-pixel window to skip the 2 Megazord fight there, which would lose a lot of time, especially since he didn't do a safety save. It would be run over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Gigasaurs, yeah, they have a ton of HP. Yeah.
I mean, you have 4 pixels, but I mean, it's still easy. Like, if you are not paying close attention, you can still miss it.
Alright. Oh, so the reason we even decided to skip the Silver Stud and Silver Earring, we need them in a any percent classic, but Poexo actually got the idea to skip that because they didn't really need it that much in 100%. And it took me a few days, and then I kind of caught on, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, we don't need him on Japanese either. And he actually proved that this fight can go smoothly without the Silver Stud. Normally after this battle, Chrono would have like 0 MP, even with the... Okay, Silver Stud cuts your MP usage in half. I should point that out. So even with that, his MP would end on like 0, basically. But what makes this work is the game throws a full ether at you, like a couple rooms before this, in one of those rooms with the buttons. And so halfway through the fight, you can just use that, and it works perfectly.
Also, you use the full ether in Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay. We normally use the mid one in 100%.
Yeah, I was wondering... It looked like Quixel was thinking about using the full ether, but maybe he decided to save it for a different fight. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I don't need I don't need the ethers for anything else.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's right.
Let's just
Just
use
for
them all.
this.
Yeah. I also want to... I'm going to use a mid ether on Retinite too, but
Okay.
yeah. If I wanted to use a full ether on Retinite, there's one right near him as well. So
Yeah, true.
no big deal. The thing is, on any percent classic, you got to be careful because all that stuff you pick up in the Sunken Desert, you pretty much want to sell all of it, and it gives you just the right amount of money to buy those chaos prevention helms.
Yeah.
But again, I don't need to worry about that on Japanese.
Yeah, you don't even need to buy full tonics. Well, not
Yeah.
not even on 90% classic, but
Right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I should say. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I'm using Japanese to stand for LSS run, but
Yeah.
I should say any percent. Yeah. So here's where the tricky business starts. I'm kind of doing this pattern of, it looks normal so far: spin cut, flame kick, spin cut. But I'm kind of switching it up. I'm holding X with Ayla to do some crits, and Luca's initiating some fire swords, and we're kind of alternating back and forth between doing that. Do a spin cut, and then actually I'll go in reverse now. Spin cut, and then Ayla, fire sword, Ayla, and then back to spin cut, flame kick, spin cut. I don't know. It's just the way the ATB lined up the best.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm glad
Yeah.
that this worked.
oh, for sure.
Very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah, this phase is just spamming attacks
Hmm.
as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit. The pressure's off a little bit on Japanese. Like on English, like you'd see Ayla being under 300 HP there, and we go, "Oh, we're in trouble." But
Yeah.
not only are we okay, but even Chrono's going to live through this fire breath
Oh,
because we have fire resistance. Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
that's right.
yeah, the pressure is way off. Way. Yeah, I guess. Okay, reviving Luca. I don't think she would have survived with full health. I think.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because I didn't de-equip her. I only de-equipped Chrono, Robo, and Frog. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. And Ayla has Ruby Vest, right?
Yep, I decided to keep that on her. Save some more de-equipping. And instead of giving Frog the Ruby Vest, I gave him just a gold suit.
Oh yeah, you grabbed the gold suit from Denadoro, right?
Yep, and actually, not only did I grab one gold suit, but I actually bought one in Poor. Forgot to point that out. So, both Chrono and Frog had a gold suit, but...
Okay.
I was like, I was having such a rough time with that, and I realized, oh my gosh, I can just buy a second one of these. Yeah. I mean, I can, Caribbean Rasta. I can read it fairly okay. I can stay afloat, but there's a bunch of there's some big differences in Japanese. Not only the text speed.
If we go quickly, the text is faster. You lose time because the unequipped glitch doesn't give you magic attack, as in the English version. And Lavo Shell Skip, which is the glitch that allows us to beat this game around 20-ish minutes faster, is faster. It's not faster; it's easier on Japanese.
Yeah, no, it's actually both. It's also faster because you skip the breakaway, which is like yeah. So LSS attempts on English take like 30 seconds each, and they take 20 seconds on J. So, and you usually need to do a few attempts, so that adds up.
Yeah, for sure. You got it, what, 5th try in this one, I think?
5th or 4th, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's over a minute.
Yeah. Oh, I think my PB before this was 4th, and yeah, this was one extra. Yeah. But I saved. Yeah, you can. I saved a lot of time already on Magus.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what happened there. But, I'm gonna just check something.
Yeah, as you can see, this fight has been going on for like over 6 minutes. It's a really long fight. In any version you pick.
Yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying the soundtrack. I'm not sure what song's playing right now, but it must be
pretty good.
Yeah, maybe even Black Girl In or something, maybe. Or let's see. So okay, BT down. Only one obstacle left, and that is Ret Knight. It's pretty much the only fight left at all. We don't do any fights in the desert besides him.
Yeah, that's true. That's, only one more fight to go.
And then glitch out the last boss. Let me see. Just kinda...
Yeah, okay, this battle sort of works with what I've said before, like trying to skip Battle Black Tyranno, like you try to fade out, doesn't work, you try to save anyway. And then again, after Black Tyranno, you get moved over to the overworld. So
yeah,
I just think we just need a different glitch to be found.
I think so too.
With our current ones, it's not possible. Well, I mean, so far.
Yeah. Why does he have so much HP? It's ridiculous. But okay.
Yeah, 10.5k.
Yeah. What's great is the way Inichi fought this fight after doing half-hour grind. He does like 6 rounds of cube toss and spin cut. 6 rounds. Black Tyranno doesn't even get one flame breath in. I was so jealous watching that. Yeah. When is 100%? Oh, it'll be next. I'm not sure when next is though. Oh dear. Let me see. So yeah, we're heading to the coolest place in the game. In a speedrun, this place kind of makes me a little bit sleepy. There's people are sleeping everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. And also right after that is the desert, and that kind of makes my eyes a little bit itchy. But yeah, you just gotta hold in there, hang in there.
Oh yeah.
And it's coming.
But yeah, this part's way shorter on Japanese. Well, for any percent. You don't need to charge the pendant, fight the golem. Watch the boring Shala cutscene.
Yeah. One thing we were thinking of doing, and actually I did do this in a run earlier on, when we were considering doing the JRTA timing to the end. The funny thing is, you can get 2 different endings here. You kind of have a choice. If you go ahead and watch the Scala cutscene and retreat after that, you'll get a much shorter ending. It's like almost 4 minutes shorter. But watching that cutscene is like adds an extra minute of gameplay. So I was really torn between whether to keep that in the run or should we just ditch it, And I think we made the right choice. I don't know. Let's see. So the only reason we're climbing Zeal here, there's only one little thing we need to do, and then we're out of there. And that
Plant
is unlocking basically a late game side quest, which is.
Did you heal there? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Since we're not going to fight the golem.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 90% classic, we want our HP to be pretty low. After
So we can die faster.
Yeah. Yeah, the forced. I mean, you can beat that fight, but they still imprison you.
Yeah, one of the worst things that happened earlier when I first started doing 90% was if you don't close the text boxes before you enter or exit the room, the ones from the seed never gets planted. So you can basically continue and get to the Sunken Desert and it's just not there. You could actually close the text boxes before you exit the room.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And I mean, just because it's not mentioned anywhere, like on the route and yeah, when I first started, I was just like, why does it sometimes doesn't work? And yeah, then I just asked around and people just told me. It's like,
Yeah, and so if the desert isn't open, actually, especially if you get locked out of Zeal, it's over. You can't go back and talk to the lady. But on this, at least, I say at least, if you climb back down and you see that the desert's not open, you can just climb all the way back up and do it again. It's over either way. So now we have almost all of our pillars here. Oh, by the way, Frog learns magic in this version.
Yeah,
and this is because we don't have the Swallow. Chrono's next sword, I guess, late game sword, which you have to unlock with the charged pendant. It like doubles his attack and gives him an extra speed point. But we don't have that now, so we got to find a way to squeeze out as much damage as we can. Ayla also, she's not going to run cat attack. She only has rollo kick.
Oh, okay.
We still have Chrono's spin cut, but
well, we need Frog's water because we don't use Marl because she's pretty weak. So Frog needs to take out Retinet's defense basically with a water spell.
Yeah, so we could have kept Marl in, but we need someone who can do a lot of damage. And so it just turned out to be worth it to go out of our way to teach Frog magic. And there, I just do a bright load. Isn't that nice?
I'm so jealous right now.
Yeah, just such a hard load on English. But yeah. And it was after I got the first sub 3 that's when I thought to start using metronome. And I think that was I think that was a pretty big deal. I don't know, everyone still uses their own methods.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized, okay, even though I really like my scroll method, I'm going to be doing metronome from now on.
Yeah, there's metronome, scrolling, and I watched the timer.
Yeah, watching the timer is great. There was something else somebody did. What Ottavino did, and also Kile. Those guys, since they're pretty musically inclined, they just they kind of just had the beat of the opening music in their head, and they went with that.
Oh, okay.
And they were
Damn, that's great.
Yeah, they had a really high success rate just doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know what
Unfortunately,
Domino did.
Yeah, yeah, Kile did as well. Kile's the first, when Kile came up with a double elixir glitch, his first method, he had a music cue that he had to use in order for Marl to use the haste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, he had a music cue to use the haste, and then that's when we were still elixir glitching with Chrono and then Marl. And boy, that was so tough, dude. Like,
The menu glitch.
Not only the menu glitch, but even earlier on, it was like a 12 frame window to hit that haste, fifth of a second, and it was ridiculous. Like, it's insane how much we've improved that, and even found different loading windows.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to Frog.
Oh yeah, based Frog. He's the champion of the elixir glitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Magus 2 for 100%.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, Magus. I haven't found a different method.
Yeah.
For
I don't mean for level ship.
Yeah, but I tried to find a different setup for Yakra at 13th, but yeah, that's insane. Adovino's method's going to be the one forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, we opted to have no game audio because I didn't have a clean recording, unfortunately. Learned my lesson. I'm going to start doing clean recordings now. But yeah.
It's fine. I don't expect many people anymore, especially when you record these live. They're usually filled with commentary as you go along.
Yeah, right on. But, I mean, basically after this one, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll start doing local recordings with Amarek. And I just figured it out pretty quickly. I was like, oh, why haven't I been doing this from the start?
It's a pain to set up, though, so I could see why.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I got the settings figured out. I made sure to screenshot all the settings that I do on that kind of program. So if I ever mess something up, I don't have to start back from nothing.
Nice lapis there.
Yeah, I had to use the lapis, and also I had to actually use a lightning on the core to heal it.
Yep. Yeah, so basically this boss, when you kill the core, which is the little eye in the middle, he just starts regenerating his defense, and he starts doing a bunch of attacks, like just non-stop spam attacks. So you're basically dead.
Yeah, if the core's gone, yeah.
Yeah.
And the core only has 1,000 HP, and throughout the first half of the fight, when the legs were still alive, the head and the legs were alternating, absorbing HP from the core. It was about 200 something each time. So like after 5 absorbs, the core is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Keep it alive, basically. Also, the core on itself, like, okay, so basically you kill the top and then you have to kill the core, and the core has a lot of like evasion and it's hard to hit. Not right now because we know the RNG for it. But yeah, if you don't kill the core, you don't only lose tech points, you also lose experience, which you don't need in this run. You don't need any tech points, experience, anything.
Yeah, for no LSS, this is kind of a pretty high pressure fight. A little, there's pressure, but at least if the core runs away, or
if the core runs away, it's over.
Yeah, but on this, if the core runs away, you're okay. I still kill the core just because it's faster than waiting for it to run away. Yeah,
for sure.
The thing is, it'll take a long time to run away until you attack it once, and then it like speeds its timer up.
Okay.
So that's why on any percent classic, you usually want to
Kill
Yeah.
it with the first attack.
or else if that misses, it's probably actually better to wait until you have two people ready to attack it.
Okay.
I would say, yeah. But anyway,
And we are gonna
Okay.
leave Robo behind, and
Yep.
he's gonna make the forest grow.
Yep. See you in 400 years, bro.
The great Robo.
So let me see.
Okay,
Yeah.
you-
So Red Knight was basically the last boss there, essentially, of the run.
Oh yeah.
It kind of makes makes logical sense. Like the last boss changed from the Lava Score to Shell to Ret Knight. The next logical thing is of course to skip Ret Knight. And what's funny is we almost have accomplished that. Like it's probably not going to be possible, but a few people have on accident, and then we figured out how to reproduce it. Is if you run at Ret Knight, you can start the fight. The battle music starts, but he goes back underground, and so it's like, oh my gosh, if we were able to off-screen this guy, like we do for Yakra and Hecarim, we know from those examples that if you off-screen the boss, the fight ends automatically, and you'll even get the text afterwards and advance the story. But the problem with Red Knight is when he pops back up, no matter where you are in the room, he steals the camera away from you, and it pans all the way across the room to him, and forces you into the fight. It's so heartbreaking. But maybe someday someone will figure out the missing the key to that, and then the last boss will be Black Tyranno.
6-minute final boss fight.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
more, like 9 minutes or so. Damn.
Yeah. And then we could skip teaching frog magic. Yeah, it'd be nice.
I'm just gonna give you guys fair warning that you may want to. I know that LSS kind of takes some explanation, so maybe you want to
Okay.
preface, because I know it happens pretty quickly.
Okay,
Go
true
ahead,
that.
sir.
Okay. So, this is something Inichi found in 2007, and it's been in TASes, and we didn't think it was going to be possible. And then Chaos, we have a little bit of history. Chaos figured out, worked on it a ton, and I worked on it a ton, and found out it's possible in J. And the weird thing is, you kind of have to abuse how the game is processing event scripts. Like we have like 4 events queued up behind Gasper's text. They each have, each of those. We're storing the pillars, and each one calls for like this physical like zipping of the character up off screen. And a text box before that, with which is a dialogue text box. And so we're kind of lining this up. We're trying to close the text boxes on the right frame. They go on 4-frame cycles, so I mean it's not like you're hitting the 2-frame window, but it is. But you can also think of it as just a 50% chance. Yeah, and it was pretty tough. I mean, at first, we were trying to copy the TAS's movements exactly, and they get the 1999 text box first, which we thought was absolutely necessary, so that it would send us to 1999, where the shell is. And that was a 1-frame window, followed by a 3-frame. But then I just by accident, I don't even know how. It just this freak chance where I got 2300 first, and I was like, okay, whatever, let's try it anyway. And oh my gosh, I got it like twice in a row doing that. like, this isn't 1 frame. And it actually turned out to be 2 frames or 50%. And then after a while, we kind of refined. We found a good coordinate to stand on, so that you could just hold the button for the next few text boxes, and you're in there at that point. After that, just like the end of time, save anywhere, you're kind of manipulating the game to let you open the menus when you're not supposed to. So we're opening them mid-zip and swapping characters so that we can move around again. And it's so crazy, just based on the geometry of the room, the layout of the room, like it's just barely possible. Like it just took a genius mind like Inichi's to like put it together. Like I'm so curious about his process. Like, how do you even think to do it? But you'll see. I'm gonna fill it a few times first, so you can kind of get a taste. But basically, oh yeah, gotta say, we are storing. Okay, so we have Gasper's text. We're taking it over the bridge here. Normally, text will cancel when you get the NPCs off screen, but if you menu at just the right time, you can take it over there with you. And I stored those 2 far pillars. That last one we just opened up. So once you charge the pendant, actually you cannot access that pillar either. So that's the other reason why we cannot charge the pendant. I forgot to mention earlier. So I'm getting on this specific coordinate pixel, and I'm resetting because when I am closing the 2300 text, my characters are grouping up, and that means failure. That's the 2 frame window. I'm being way too hasty here. First frame is a failure, and so I'm clearly hitting it too early. If I just took my time, this is basically just a coin toss, and so I'm being silly here. It should be easier than this. Nope, there we go. Next one, maybe. But yeah, even after you get the good zip, still some more execution in it. First time Chaos did it, he did it with the save state, which makes sense because the next part is pretty tricky too. So here we go, good zip, we're flying. We get to this corner, we get barely in bounds here at that corner. And then we get to run all the way to the next corner, we just have barely enough time, and it starts taking us away again. So I'm mashing menu. Let's take this time to put Green Dream on Frog and stuff. But the way this works, we're going to see Lavo's shell for just the briefest minute. The headless shell actually exists on this map. The entire game, you know. Boom, we're in there. And the door transition exists there too. Right on. So the game is taking our XY position from the last point where I menued as I was zipping up that final time. So I managed to get up onto tile 8-8, which is like on the fence. Like you cannot access that unless you get into the far bottom left corner and start getting zipped upward. That's the only way you can access 8-8. And yeah, here we are.
GG.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Man, I want to improve this so badly now. But the run was pretty good, as you can tell by the gold. I'm not. Oh, yeah. So it's probably not on. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not on. So yeah, Elixir. What was great is we used to do the Elixir glitch with Chrono, and it was a lot harder to do that. And we found out that Frog's 11 speed is just perfect to line it up, and it took us even a little bit longer to realize we can just use Frog in the next phase. We don't have to we don't have to heal him in between the fights by glitching out the transition.
Yep. So
Mhm.
basically, the way it works really quickly is when Frog dies, he revives with the Green Dream. So that sets his position to pretty weird number. That's not the usual. So you can select Lavos in this case with an elixir, which overflows his HP. Like,
Yeah, actually, what it is actually is we're well, yeah, we're. It looks like we're actually targeting him with an elixir, but we're actually just like queuing up the elixir. It doesn't have any target. It doesn't know where to go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then we actually attack Lavos, and the elixir comes out, and yeah, gives him too much HP, and the game bugs out and doesn't know what to do with that. So the fight's over. It's just over. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah, you need Frog to die like almost when his action bar fills, so you have just enough time to get Elixir out. If not, he gets attacked once more and he's dead. This is one of the reasons we stopped timing at final input. Sometimes sometimes it just takes a while to process the final Elixir glitch or to die and stuff. So it removes that uncertainty, like just completely random.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Chrono Trigger speedrun. I enjoyed it.
In 2:29:19. Any percent world record.
Yeah. Whew. I have faith someone will take it lower sometime.
We need new runners. I hope that if you've been watching this, you might be tempted to run the game now.
Yeah,
hopefully there's a lot of tutorials and stuff to help you get started, and the community is really nice.
Absolutely. Like even if you want to start on J, or even if you're interested in J, picking up English is a very nice investment as well. And Jerry has an excellent tutorial for the classic any percent run. That's the most competitive category at the moment still, and I like to play it once in a while. I improved my run on any percent classic just a few days before I did this run, in fact. So still going strong, for sure. But yeah, let's post the wiki again so people can find it. I don't have it.
Okay, yeah, great. You guys have any closing words you want to say? I mean, I know you just said a few. I guess I have a few questions quickly. So,
sure.
Yeah, so about people who want to join, it's really, I mean, you guys are available to talk to, or you've got your wiki set up, so there's a lot of resources out there, which is great.
Yep. We also have a Discord server. It's not very active, but I check it. or whatever, you can PM any of us and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Twitter,
really helpful.
Twitch.
Basically,
YouTube.
you can basically contact any Chrono Trigger runner. We're a good group, you know. We share stuff around. Should I post it? Well, you can find the Discord server on my my Twitch page if you like. There's some other stuff there as well. Let's see. Final closing thoughts. I don't know. I'm just really floored that a run like this could come together, and that it's been a lot of fun working with everybody in the community and watching this evolve. And I hope I kind of gave did the history some justice today during this show, and I really appreciate you having me on. Like, this is such a great opportunity to kind of try to be able to explain stuff and give some credit and shout outs, and yeah, really enjoyed myself and really looking forward to the next episodes of this show. It's off to a good start.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. It was a fantastic run to walk through. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing whatever developments you guys have next. I just want to say quickly that you guys, the community that you talked about is really great. I think it's really cool to see people come up with ideas here and there, and then somebody takes it and runs with it. And that's something I would really like to see in a lot more communities. People collaborating and thinking about how things can be improved, or thinking that there's some sort of skip that may be possible. So let's work with it and figure it out. So it's really cool to see that go down. And so yeah, it's that was a great episode. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll send you guys off. Thank you both, Red Slash and El Grand Jerry, for joining me on this show.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. And that wraps up our edition 2 of Chrono Trigger, Jay. Next episode is likely going to be Secret of Mana. And from there, I'll be contacting other people. We also have Earthbound on the horizon as well. So one of those two will be next. But
sounds amazing.
That's great. All right. That's it for the stream. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Everybody have a good one. Bye.
See ya.